Hello all, greetings of the day. So in the previous lecture, we had discussed a data structure classification, how data structure is classified into different types. Okay, so in the today's lecture, we will see algorithms where we will see introduction to algorithm, characteristics of algorithm, algorithm design tool like pseudocode and the flowchart. Talking about the problem solving, so already we have seen in the earlier lectures how problem solving can be done, and even in your first year in the PPS subject you have seen there are 5 steps before solving any problem. Okay, how we are moving from problem towards the program. So I'd like to start with the algorithm. So in the today's lecture we'll see about what is algorithm. Okay, very first thing, talking about the algorithm. Algorithm is what? A set of instructions. Okay, so when it is performed we are getting a desired result. Okay, or in a proper definition of algorithm is finite number of steps when performed sequentially accomplishes a given task. Remember here two keywords are important. The steps are finite and they should be performed sequentially according to the numbering given. Now, so basically algorithm is what? A set of instructions, right? With the help of which we are achieving all goal of which we are performing the task, or we are achieving a desired result. So basically whatever is our thought process, or we can say a logic, that is converted in the form of steps, or we can say it is converted into algorithm. So before talking about our technical example of the algorithm, I'd like to tell you how we are preparing a tea. Remember, algorithm is what? Is a recipe, okay, that we are putting in the form of steps. For example, consider I have to prepare a plain tea. Very first thing, you should be very clear about the problem statement. See, specially or purposely I have put here word plain tea. See, remember, a recipe for what? If I'll say tea, so that is what is a confusing term. So tea may be of any form. So it can be plain tea, it can be lemon tea, or it can be other form of tea. So I should be very specific while stating the problem here. So I have to make a plain tea. So that is why I'll mention a recipe of a plain tea. So what is recipe? It is a sequence of steps. So in other word, we can say we are writing an algorithm to prepare plain tea. So very first thing what we will do, we will put a vessel with a water in it on gas stove. Second step, add sugar and tea powder. Third step, once a liquid gets boiled, put milk into it and let the liquid mixture boil for 1 minute and then switch off the gas stove. Okay, for example, if these are the steps, okay, that we have written. So whether, remember, while writing the algorithm, you should be very sure that whether algorithm will give me a satisfying result, or whether it will give me a solution, proper solution. For example, a person which is very new to this term tea, okay, who is out of the country, and if he will follow this particular step, whether he will get a satisfied tea or whether he will be getting a proper solution here. For example, first step is putting a vessel with a water. Remember, we cannot call this entire part as an algorithm. Why? Remember, some things are missing while writing this algorithm. So here we have not specified clearly about the quantity, how much quantity of water, how much quantity of milk I have to take. So here we have not mentioned about the time also. So while writing the algorithm, we should be very specific. Anyways, in the next slide we will see the characteristics of algorithm, so that time things will be more clear. So talking about this particular algorithm, so for example, a person which is new to the tea concept, he may fill this entire vessel with the water, because we have not mentioned here how much water to take. Okay, here we have not mentioned that we have to switch on the gas, so he will just put it on the gas stove. Now next, adding the sugar and the tea powder, the person may add only 1 teaspoon of sugar and a double teaspoon of tea powder. Now after coming to third step, he will realize that the liquid should get boiled, so that time he will turn on this gas stove, he will switch it on. Okay, next, see, so he has wasted some time, because if we would have mentioned in the first step itself that I should add a 1 cup of water, okay, then I should switch on the gas stove and then put it. So the person could have saved the time. But after coming to third step, the person is realizing we have to let the mixture boil, so that time he will switch on the gas stove. Again, here it is not mentioned how much milk to put. So remember, here he has already filled this entire vessel with the water, so he don't have any space to add milk. So what will happen here? He has to get some water or some liquid out of this to make a space to add milk. Okay, so he will get some space for the milk. Okay, and then milk will be added inside this particular vessel. Now next, let the mixture get boiled for 1 minute. So here it is clearly mentioned, so he will boil that mixture again after adding milk for 1 minute, and then finally a tea is ready, so he will switch off the gas stove. So remember, while writing the algorithm, you should be very specific, right? So if the person will follow these steps, what will happen? He will get a tea, he will get a output that is tea, but he might not be satisfied this output. Why? Because nowhere it is clearly mentioned that put this much quantity or what is the time requirement. Okay, so remember, there are some characteristics that need to be followed. So at this particular slide, I will just try to focus on one thing, that our algorithms are what? A finite number of steps, and that should be performed sequentially, and after performing that particular steps, we will get a desired result or we will achieve our goal. Okay, so that is what is the definition of algorithm. Okay, so coming to the next point, see, I would like to discuss this technical example later on. So before that, I would like to take you people towards the characteristics of algorithm. So before discussing this particular slide, with every explanation, I would like to put some examples. So very first thing is what? About the input, 0 or more input. So let me take you towards the example. So very first point is about the input. So as it is mentioned in the slide, your algorithm should have 0 or more input. For example, it is mentioned here 0 or more. Anyways, for example, my program is to perform addition of two numbers. So my input is 2 number here. But what about 0 input? Sometimes my task may be to just print some statements here. For example, if I have just written a program to print something, for example, print hello students of ABCOE. So in this particular program, I don't need any inputs. So that is the reason it is mentioned your algorithm may have 0 or more input. Okay. Now, talking about the next thing about the output. Now, your algorithm should have at least one output. See, you are performing all the steps, but for what purpose I am performing that steps? So that particular output should be printed on the screen. For example, my algorithm contains few steps here. Take a two numbers A and B. Then next step is let C is equal to A plus A into B. That is multiplication of A and B, and the result is stored inside C. And finally, I am stopping here. So now here I have printed the multiplication here. So that particular step is missing here. If I not print the result, then what is the basically what is the role of these particular steps, or what is the purpose of this particular algorithm here? So that is the reason your algorithm should have at least one output. It can be one or more. Now talking about the next step, that is definiteness. Now what is definiteness property here? So definiteness means what? A clear and unambiguous instruction. So remember, your every instruction should be very clear and unambiguous. For example, in the example of the recipe that I have mentioned here, so my algorithm step was not clear. So definiteness was missing here, because here I could have mentioned properly. For example, in the first step itself, the programmer, or maybe here we can see a person might had confused how much water to take, whether to switch on gas or not. So that is the reason your algorithm should be definite, or we can say a step should be very clear and unambiguous. It means instruction should not create ambiguity in the user of programmer while when he is actually performing the implementation of this algorithm. Next step is about the finite. Finite means, a literal meaning of finite means what? A limit. Okay, it should stop after some number or few particular steps. So finite means your algorithm should terminate after some steps. For example, if I will write an algorithm where there is no stop, I would like to give you explanation of this finiteness. This is the algorithm for the multiplication. So two numbers are accepted as input. Operation is multiplication, that is performed. Next, printing the result, and next go to step 1. So what will happen here? After printing the result, we will again go back to step 1. Again two numbers will be accepted, again multiplication will be performed, again the result is printed, again it will go to step 1. So basically in this algorithm there is no termination condition. So we have not mentioned here we have to stop. At what point we have to stop? See, stopping condition is mentioned, or stopping state is mentioned at the step 4. But whether it will reach to a step 4, it will not reach. Why? Because after step 3, repeatedly it is going back to step 1. So this algorithm don't have finiteness. It means my algorithm is, or my program may go into infinite loop. So in order to perform this particular algorithm, my algorithm should have finiteness. It means here, rather than going to step 3, I may delete this step here, and we can mention after printing the result, stop. So now this algorithm is having the property that is finiteness. Now going to the next property, that is effectiveness. What is meant by effectiveness? Effectiveness means what? Every step should be very clearly, not clearly, but should be very basic. Means it should not be very complicated one. For example, this is my algorithm. Consider two number A and B. Okay, next find GCD of A and B and printing the GCD. Now remember, here I am printing the GCD of two numbers, right? But in the step 2 I have directly mentioned find GCD of A and B. Now remember here, my algorithm may contain sub algorithms here, right? But the sub algorithm step should also be mentioned here. If I don't know the basically here I have just mentioned GCD of A and B, but the programmer, if we don't know what is the process to find out the GCD, he may put some efforts, some time in finding the GCD algorithm. Okay, so now I can make this algorithm effective by converting this step into sub steps here. So I can write down the algorithm to find out GCD of two numbers, for example. So it is better to write down the algorithm for the GCD. So I can mention here. Remember, GCD means greatest common divisor. So we have to find out a number which is divisible by both and which should be a maximum. Okay. So I can have a logic here. Consider a variable I. Okay. Initial value will be 2. I'll not consider 1 because obviously any number is divisible by 1. So first value of I will be 2. Then if A and B both are divisible by current I value, so whatever is the current I value, so initially it will be 2. If it is divisible by, or we can say in other way to be very specific here, if A mod I is equal to 0 and B mod I is equal to 0, means it is one and the same. Either I can write down this statement or I can write down this statement. Anything is fine here. Okay, if it is divisible by I, then next step is I have to consider that I value as a GCD, means whatever is the reason. Now I have to reach to the next step. If the I value, for example, currently my I value is 2, if it is greater than max of A and B, remember here I have to find out maximum of two numbers. I should not, so my I value will not cross this boundary. For example, my A value is 2 and if my B value is 4, so what is the limit for I? From 2 to 4. For example, my A value is 4 and my B value is 12, so what is the limit for I? 2 to maximum is 12, so that is 12, so 2 to 12. So here I values range is from 2 to max of A comma B. So that is why every time I will check whether I has crossed the maximum limit or not. If it is greater than the maximum limit, then I have to stop. If not, then I have to increment I. So next value of I will be 3. And again I have to go to step 2, a sub step of the main step, that is 2. So I will again go here. Again I will check whether A and B are divisible by current I value, that is 3. If not, okay. If it is divisible by, then I will put this as a GCD. Okay. Else, remember my algorithm should be very specific. Else I don't have to do anything else, continue. Okay, if it is not divisible by, I don't have to make any action. Else I will say here, else go to step 3. Remember, this should be mentioned here. If it is not divisible by, then I'll go to step 4 directly. Okay, for example, my algorithm is to find out GCD. For example, I am finding out GCD of 4 comma 6. So here in this case what will happen? First value of I will be 2. Okay, it is divisible by, so my GCD value will be currently is equal to 2. Okay, again I will take 3 here. Okay, again I will check whether both are divisible by 3. No, it is not divisible, so I will go to step 4. See, remember here I am not changing GCD. My GCD value will be updated only when the number is divisible by I. So 3 is not divisible by both, so I will go to next step. Again I will check whether 3 is greater than max of AB. Max of AB means 6. No, it is not greater, so again I'll increment I, so I value will be 4, and again I'll go to step 2, means again here I'll check whether both 4 and 6 are divisible by 4. No, they are not divisible by. Again I'll go to fourth step here. My next value of I will be 5. Again I'll go here. Again A and B are not divisible by 5. Again I'll go to 4 here. Again I'll take 6 here. Again both are so remember here both should be divisible by. Okay, and is mentioned, so it is mandatory that after dividing that particular number by AI, the remainder should be 0. Okay, again for 6 it will not be true, but finally next value will be 7, and I have already crossed the limit because my I value is greater than max of AB. It means 6 here, so I'll stop here. Now it is mentioned here stop. What is the final value of GCD? Final value of GCD is 2. So in the effectiveness, we have to make sure that your step is very basic and that can be illustrated with the pen and paper. So earlier logic was not a basic logic, basic step. So I have converted that step into the sub steps. So that is all about the characteristics of algorithm. So this is what is the, in summary, input means 0 or more input, output means at least one output, definite means very clear and unambiguous instruction, finite means termination after some step, and the effectiveness that we had already discussed. So that is all about the characteristics of algorithm and a introduction to algorithms. So I like to